What is going on, guys? This is Jordan Miller. I'm the owner and founder of BreatheHeavy. Welcome to our second ever live stream. I greatly appreciate all the engagement that you guys gave on the first live stream. So if you're watching, thank you. Please feel free to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. That really helps this channel out. What it does is it essentially tells YouTube to show this content to more people, which then grows this channel, which then inspires me to want to create more of these live streams. I have a lot of fun doing them. So please like, subscribe, and also if you haven't already, drop a line in the comments. I'm going to take a look at these live chats as the live stream continues and answer some questions. If you have any, feel free to comment. I'm looking forward to this a lot. Now on this live stream today, we have a lot to dive into and a lot to unpack. So I'm going to get right to it. And we're going to begin with a couple things about Britney, of course. And what I'm going to do, similarly to last time, is I'm going to show you these news items from Exhale. Exhale is the community on BreatheHeavy. And why I think that's important is because I would love for you to join Exhale, join this awesome community of people. There's over 80,000 members since Exhale started in 2004, 2005. And I would greatly appreciate to have you there commenting throughout the week. It'd be just an amazing experience for you. And I think you'd really like this community of people. Before I kind of dive into the stories, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what I'm going to talk about. And first things first is I'm going to talk actually about Britney's Instagram post from today. I actually announced this live stream prior to Britney's Instagram spree, but I obviously think this is very relevant. So the first thing I'm going to do is talk about her unfollowing her sister off Instagram. That happened a few days ago, followed by her mom unfollowing Jamie Lynn. And then I'm going to dive into Britney's Instagram content. Going to talk about Madonna calling out Tory Lanez for sampling Into the Groove. Also going to talk about Justin Timberlake's camp reaching out to Janet Jackson for her to perform with him at the 2018 Super Bowl halftime show. That was news to me. I think a lot of us suspected that way back when, but it's official. That happened. As well as talking about Katy Perry's lucrative play residency, how much money she's going to make for just 32 shows. It's pretty mind-blowing, so stick around. And last but not least, I want to touch on Normani. She talks about her debut album, and I have a little clip here to play for you of her talking about, I guess, why it's taking her so long. So stick around. It's going to be an awesome show. I'm super excited about this. But before we dive into the full video, let's play that intro. Well, hopefully your volume wasn't too crazy loud. I keep needing to remind myself to turn that down. So hope you're awake. First things first, let's talk about Britney unfollowing Jamie Lynn from Instagram. Part of me feels like a little bit like, why is this big news? But on the other hand, it's relevant. What I mean is, in general, celebrity following someone is not that big a deal, but because it's through the lens of Britney and everything that's gone on with her family or not gone on with her family, this is really relevant news in the Britney world. So what I'm going to do, like I mentioned earlier, is share my screen here, and we're going to take a little look-see here at this news post. So the news broke a few days ago, and people were pretty up in arms about it, as you can imagine. Namely, just actually supporting Britney, leaving Jamie Lynn in the dust in 2021. And things start to kind of unravel from here. So it is what it is. Britney unfollows Jamie Lynn at the start of 2022. Not long after that, let me open up a second tab here. Lynne Spears, Britney's mom and Jamie Lynn's mom, also unfollows Jamie Lynn. And I thought this was also extremely interesting because of the mother-daughter relationship. There's a lot of kind of speculation about how the Spears family's dynamic is. At one point, everyone thought Lynn and Jamie Lynn were very much on the same page, but it appears there's some type of split. And from what I gather from a lot of people's comments, I think that it could have something to do with Jamie Lynn's memoir coming out very soon. I believe in the next couple of weeks, sometime in January. And who knows what Jamie Lynn's going to say. I think a lot of it's going to try to paint her in a more of a sympathetic light as to like, I was the younger sister of this ultra famous pop star, and the media was constantly following her. And then as a result, she was sucked into the vortex of it all. My own 2 cents about this is that it's just not a good look. It's just not a good look. I think it's disappointing that Jamie Lynn didn't kind of learn a lesson from Lynne Spears releasing a memoir not too long after Britney was placed in the conservatorship. And keep in mind that Britney kind of feels actually, she said it herself, not kind of, she does feel like her mom was an integral person in putting Britney in a conservatorship in the first place, and kind of called her mom out recently about it. So it's interesting that there's this dynamic going on. Ultimately, I still maintain my stance from a bird's eye view that although Britney's free from this conservatorship, this kind of fallout that we're looking at right now, I still find to be very sad, because at the end of the day, Britney's free from the conservatorship, but she still has the trauma from everything that went down, and she also lost her family as a result of it. They didn't support her, and here they are after the fact. Britney's venting her trauma and what she's gone through, and yet they're still making moves where it's not very supportive. You know, Jamie Lynn with this book, Lynne Spears' attorneys are requesting that Britney's estate pay for their legal fees, as is Jamie Spears. And if you want to know more about that, check out the live stream I did last week in the suggested videos. Hopefully YouTube hooks that up. So yeah, give that video a play. So I'm curious to know what you think. Please drop me a line in the comments. I see comments coming in right now. I really appreciate it. I'll get to those in a little bit. So thank you. And if you're just tuning in now, you missed my rant about liking and subscribing. So please do that. It would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so we're going to move on to an item that's breaking news, truly breaking news, that happened today, only a few hours ago from the time of this live stream. And Britney kind of low-key shaded Jamie Lynn in one of her new Instagram posts. So I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. And oh, we'll zoom in here. So Britney posted this this photo of a little girl sticking her tongue out, giving the middle finger. And the caption is, it's a roller coaster a little bit, but that's what I love about Britney's writing, is that it takes a second to unpack, and it takes, you know, at first glance, you may not understand kind of where this is going, and it takes you down this like this tipsy-topsy wondrous road of creative writing. But I think what is very interesting about this is that she shades Jamie Lynn at the very end of this caption. So I'll show you. She says, P.S. Let's watch what we say to our years. 21 tried its hardest. Bless its heart. Well, I know. It's more like, be careful 22 doesn't show up and bite us all in the ass and leave saying, bless your hearts. All right, so if you're not understanding like what that has to do with Jamie Lynn, check out this post right here. This is a screenshot of a post that Jamie Lynn did a few days ago. And in it, she says, Dear 2021, you tried your damnedest. Bless your heart. Hoping 2022 brings nothing but healing, love, peace, and happiness. And as you can see, Britney kind of signed off the same way, saying, be safe, healthy, and kind, my friends. Our world needs it. So Britney, to me, here is trying to, you know, express some justified anger, and is like basically saying, in my opinion, like, look, 2021, like, you thought that was a bad year for you. Like, I was trapped in a conservatorship and my entire family didn't do anything about it. So I say all this not trying to point fingers at anyone, not trying to necessarily drag Jamie Lynn or do any of that kind of like drama for views or anything. I truly find it sad. And I think that Jamie Lynn might be in such a bubble with all of this that she truly thinks that the world's against her, and that, you know, people just don't understand because they don't know the family dynamic. And while that's true, I think what she may be missing here is that many of us have more of a bird's eye view and have this stance on everything where we can take a step back and see the bigger picture of everything, and like and understand that you gotta have your families back, you know, and if you don't, these are the kind of repercussions that happen. So it is what it is. I hope that in the future they can work this out. Honestly, I know that might be an unpopular opinion, and I think a lot of people are like, screw Jamie Lynn and all that, and I understand that there's a lot of like vitriol with all of this, but ultimately at the end of the day, I think it would help Britney the most if the family can mend things, apologize, try to make right. But it could be an instance of like too little, too late. So found this item really interesting. And I would imagine that we're going to see more of Britney unpacking kind of her trauma and unpacking, what has gone down over these last 13 years on Instagram in the coming months, if not years. So next up, switching up a little bit, it's a little lighter now. I just wanted to show you a little clip of Britney dancing to Madonna. I find these Instagram dumps that Britney does really interesting because it's just like, you don't even know which way to look. It's like one post is like Jamie Lynn, one post is like dancing to Madonna, and another post is a kitten. And so this post right here that I'm about to show you is Britney just killing it. She looks honestly very refreshed. She looks super happy. I love to see Britney just kind of doing her thing and performing in in her house. So here's a little clip of that.
I was young. I can't explain if it was wrong. My life goes on, but not the same.
All right, I'm going to end it there. That was just a little taste, but YouTube's algorithm could flag this for copyright, and I'm trying to avoid that. So if you would like to see the full video, either go to Exhale or just fire up Britney's Instagram and give it a check. But it's definitely worth a watch. Moving right along, speaking of Madonna, I want to talk about this. I think this is very interesting because for me, it shows Madonna's pretty in tune with what's going on music-wise in her own career, which that doesn't surprise me. But I think that it's cool that she is keeping it real, and she's calling out Tory Lanez for illegally sampling Into the Groove. And what I'm going to do is give you a little taste of each, and you tell me, is it just a coincidence, or I don't know, you let me know kind of what you think about this. I personally, obviously, it's a blatant ripoff, and I'm also going to show you what Madonna says. So she calls it illegal usage, and to me, that's pretty serious. And hopefully, here she says she's reached out to him, like, hey, check your messages. You're using my song illegally. So I'll give you a little clip of Into the Groove. All right, and then I'm gonna give you a little clip of Tory Lanez' track Pluto's Last Comet. So let me know what you think. I personally can see both sides, to be honest. I think that, look, you can't just straight up steal someone's work. They're, at the same time, it's like a lot of these lawsuits that go down, like, with Robin Thicke and Blurred Lines and all that, ripping off Marvin Gaye, and there's a bunch of things like that. The latest one is Taylor Swift with 3LW. It's like, where do you draw the line between, like, straight up stealing and just like paying an homage to work that you like? I think in this Tory Lanez case, it's a little bit too much like you're stealing. I think in Taylor Swift's case, it's like them alleging that she's stealing, haters gonna hate, and players gonna play from 3LW, even though there's a lot of gray area with that one. So I'm curious to know what you think about that. I'm going to take a quick little peek at the comments here. Someone says, Fine and Dandy says, there are only so many chords in music. That's very true. I agree with that. But at the same time, I feel like there's an infinite amount of ways you can make music. So like the structure of it is inherently relatively simple, but like there's millions of songs, so you can do your best to change it up. All right, moving right along. We've got 15 minutes left max. I'm trying to make these no longer than 30 minutes. So if you're watching, I know I sound like a broken record, but I really appreciate it. These live streams give me life. I enjoy them so much. It's just a really fun time. So hopefully you're liking this. Next up is Janet Jackson. She recently revealed the trailer for her new documentary coming out. And one thing that I found really interesting in it is that she reveals that Justin Timberlake's camp reached out to her camp for her to participate with him at his 2018 Super Bowl halftime show. And I find that super interesting because there was rumors that that was going to happen in 2018, and I actually thought personally that it was going to happen, but obviously, as we know, it didn't happen. And I think that she took a stance, and she's like, "Look, let's leave that in the past." I think there's a lot of like issues here, and from what I gather, a lot of people are like, "Look, a black woman's not going to carry a white man's like name in, as a way to kind of gain notoriety or publicize basically what happened in the past." There was like a whole racial component to all of it, a whole female component to it, where Janet Jackson was banned from the NFL, but Justin Timberlake wasn't, although they both participated in that. I say that I do think that Justin Timberlake didn't handle it well in the aftermath. He used Janet, in my opinion. Um, and I'm saying this because I'm obviously a Britney fan, so there's a little bit of like I'm a little jaded, but at the same time, like I am a big JT fan. I know all of his albums. I've been to hit a lot of his shows, but I can also be objective and say all that. So the flip side is that he tried to make things right, perhaps. Like maybe from his point of view, he's like, I tried to reach out and maybe make amends where the world could see that we've made amends and we kind of can right this wrong. But it appears Janet, really wanted nothing to do with that. And what I'm going to do is show you a little clip from this part of the documentary. So this actually it's not a clip, it's just a quote, and it says, "Justin and his team have been trying to contact us about you doing the Super Bowl." What kills me about this screenshot is she just looks like, okay, over it. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Janet should have taken Justin Timberlake's invitation? Should she have taken him up on that opportunity? Or do you think that she made the right call by just bowing out and kind of focusing on other projects? Let me know. Let me know what you think. Moving right along, I want to briefly touch on Katy Perry's residency. I talked about Katy in the last live stream, and I got a lot of comments being like, "Is she paying you?" No, I'm not being paid. I just am from Vegas, and I currently live in Vegas, so all these Vegas residencies that pop up are very interesting to me. I'm also a Katy Perry fan. Like, I've always liked her music. I was just recently listening to One of the Boys, just a very nostalgic album for me personally. I'm sure a lot of you could relate. And one thing that I find so interesting about her show is that she's making a lot of money. And from what I saw, it looks like a spectacle. I haven't seen it yet in person, but it looks very Katy Perry-esque, larger than life, very like cartoony, weird, funny, quirky, campy kind of vibe. She's reportedly earning $168 million for 32 shows. And that is obviously a staggering figure. If you break it down, that's 5.25 million per show. I did that math there, so I'm a journalism major. If my math is wrong, let me know in the comments. But I'm pretty sure that's accurate, and honestly, good for her. All the comments are very like hit or miss with this. People are saying like, that sounds fake. There's Derek Barry. Yes. Some of the comments are like, yes, queen, like, get it. Someone doesn't believe she's making more than Beyonce. I don't know. I also kind of feel like that number is very high, but that's what's being said. So who knows? I found that to be really interesting. And if that's true, make your coin. She's making millions. She's married to Orlando Bloom. She is kind of doing well in life. So good on her. Last but not least, I want to talk about Normani. Normani, to me, is a very interesting artist because I think that there was such momentum around her a number of years ago with Motivation. I think that song still is a bop. But for some reason, one reason or another, there just was never a debut album released by her. And here we are a number of years later, and she's kind of fallen into this category Same with like what Adele was, where was Adele was at. Now Rihanna's definitely in that, where it's like, where's the album? Where's the album? Same for Beyonce, same for Britney. It's like, release the album. Britney's obviously in a whole different category, but yeah, it's like Normani is not Beyonce, no shade, but it's like a debut album. Let's go, let's do it. And I wonder if she's just kind of paralyzed by the amount of expectation, or she just doesn't know how to proceed. But what I'm going to show you here is a little clip that she did, that she, during an interview she participated in, where she's like, essentially says, she's talking to Ciara, and she's just essentially says, people underestimate how hard it is and how much effort that goes into one project, one body of work. And then she says, coming out of a girl group, there was a lot that I had to figure out about myself and fears. Well, before I go on, let's just hear it from her.
I want to know about you working on new music.
Yes, my album is
The
almost
audience.
done.
Ooh.
I'm there. The closest that and I think, people really underestimate how hard it is and how much effort we put into one project.
Yeah.
One body of work, you know, and coming out of a girl group, there was a lot that I had to figure out about myself, and fears that I had to deal with head on. Like I was always so safe being in a girl group. I remember my mom when I was little, she was like, why do you want to be in a girl group so bad? She's like, is it so you can hide?
Mm.
And I think that was pretty much the answer.
So there you have it. She simultaneously kind of, I guess she didn't shade Fifth Harmony, but it was like, she basically is like, I was hiding in Fifth Harmony because the atmosphere could create that. So Normani, obviously I know you're not watching this, but Normani stands, if you're out there, let's get our girl on Spotify with the debut album already. So with that wraps up all of the news items I wanted to touch on. I'm going to take a quick look at the comments. I appreciate you guys watching this live stream. Again, I know that I already said this, but it does mean everything. I'd like to do more of these and hopefully make this a thing. But I need your participation to do that. So if you feel inspired, by the way, there is functionality on YouTube to do a super chat where you donate and to your boy. And every dollar I'm going to put back into this channel so I can market it and just grow it. And it would be really appreciated. So thank you so much. So far the comments are pretty positive, which I appreciate because you just never know. And people are saying JT's overrated. Some are saying Janet did the right thing. Someone comments on Britney's meet and greets being $4,000. Oh, I guess Katy Perry's meet and greets are $4,000. Slay. That is a staggering figure as well. I guess that's how she's making that 5.25 million. Wow, people are saying they love this. Just a lot of great comments, so I really appreciate that, and it was a fun stream. So with that said, you guys, thank you so much. Honestly, love you. Keep sticking around. Make sure you're checking Exhale. Follow Breathe Heavy on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Go to Breathe Heavy. Follow me on my personal Instagram. I'm trying to get this live stream out there as much as possible. Your support means everything. And with that said, love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.